Good morning everyone. This is your subject physical education for class 12th. We are going to start with chapter number 6. This is your lecture number 1. Name of the chapter is Test and Measurement in Sports. So we are going to start with the very first subtopic from the book, which is motor fitness test. There are different motor fitness test batteries, but the very first one is your 50 meters dash. Sprint or speed test can be performed over varying distances depending on the factors being tested and the relevance to the sport. So mainly it depends on different games and sports what kind of test you wanted to take just to measure somebody's sprint or somebody's speed. So it will be depending on the type of game. If you are in a 100 meter, then it will be a shorter distance. But if you are from a longer run distance, for example 800 meters or 1500 meters, then accordingly your test would be taken. The purpose of the test is, the main aim of this test is to determine acceleration and speed. Equipment required: measuring tape or marked track, stopwatch, cone, markers, flat and clear surface of at least 70 meters. So now the procedure of 50 meters dash. The test involves running a single maximum sprint over 50 meters with the time recorder. So what you have to do is that in this test an individual has to run 50 meters and the time will be recorded. A thorough warm-up should be done, including some practice starts and acceleration. So before the test, one should do proper warm-up so that he can get a good time recorded or he can be in a good form, and then he should also practice some acceleration runs or stride before giving the test. Now start from the stationary standing position. So you need to start from the standing position. One should not sit down on the ground. With one foot in front of the other, the front foot must be behind and starting line. Once the subject is ready and motionless, the starter gives the instructions set and go. The tester should provide hints for maximizing speed, such as keeping low, driving hard with the arms and legs. So in this whole process one has to stand, and when the subject is ready to run and one is motionless, then the starter will be giving an instruction which is set and go. And while an individual is performing, the starter may also give him different advices or hints so that one can have a better timing or a better run through. And the participant should be encouraged not to slow down before crossing the finish line, and the participant or the student who is performing this test should be asked to run with full speed until and unless he reaches the finish line. Now the results or the scoring. 2 trials are allowed and the best time is recorded to the nearest 2 decimals places. The timing starts from the very first movement if using a stopwatch or when the timing system is triggered, and finishes when the chest crosses the finish line and or the finish timing gate is triggered. So obviously many of us will be using a stopwatch while commencing or while conducting this test. So whenever you command go, then the stopwatch you have to start, and whenever an individual crosses the finish line, then you have to stop the watch and record the timings. Next one is your 600 meters run or walk. Now there are quite a few variations of the walking or running test as a measure of aerobic fitness. Here is a journal description of this type of test. So there are again in variety, and there are different forms of walk and run test according to the age of an individual or a game in which he or she is participating, or the kind of test or measurement we wanted to do. Now the equipment required are oval or running track, marking cones, recording sheets and a stopwatch. The procedure. The subject takes the position of standing right behind the starting line. So as usual, an individual will be standing behind the starting line. At the signal of ready and go, the subject starts running 600 meters distance. So as a tester or as umpire, if you are commanded or if you command an individual to start or go for the run, then the subject is going to start 600 meters. During this course of running, he may walk also. So because as I said earlier, it is a run and walk test. So if you have started running, so in this test, if you get tired in between, you can start walking also. Now the scoring. Norms are available for many of these tests. It is important to compare results for normative tales that have the same test procedure and with a similar target groups. Secondly, what you can do is with the help of the stopwatch, as we started in 50 meters, as the time or as the command goes for go or ready, then you should start your stopwatch, and as soon as an individual finishes off his or her race or the run, then the stopwatch should be stopped and the time should be recorded. Sit and reach test is your next one. Equipment required are sit and reach box. So for this you need to have a specific box for measuring your flexibility especially. So it is known as your sit and reach box, or alternatively a ruler can be used on a step or box. So basically you wanted to have the same kind of structured box, and in that place you can use a ruler or you can mark it earlier before commencing the test. So a box is to be required for this particular test. Now the procedure of sit and reach test. This test involves sitting on the floor with legs stretched out straight ahead. So you need to sit with your legs straight. Shoes should be removed because in many of the shoes there are heels, and because of those heels or the sole, one might not get accurate measurement of the flexibility. That is why you need to remove your shoes. The soles of the feet are placed flat against the box. Both knees should be locked and pressed flat to the floor. The tester may assist by holding them down. So there are many of the individuals whose flexibility is not that good, but because of the rule of the test, one must not bend the knees. So a tester may help the student by holding the knees with the palms facing downwards and the hands on the top of each other or side by side. So what you have to do is you have to keep your palms both on each other, or it can be on side by side. One must take this into concern that both the hands should be together and not one should be like in front, other behind. So both the hands should be together stretched in front. The subject reaches forward along the measuring line as far as possible. As I said, ensure that the hands remain at the same level, not one reaching further forward than the other. After some practice, the subject reaches out and holds that position for at 1-2 seconds while the distance is recorded. Make sure there are no jerky movement. So one should not jerk forward. Scoring. The score is recorded to the nearest centimeter or half inches as the distance reached by the hand. The next test is partial curl-up test. The purpose is the curl-up test measures abdominal strength and endurance, which is important in back support and core stability. Equipments required are a flat, clean, cushioned surface. You can use mats also. Recording sheet in which you are going to write the records of different individual, pen, and a metronome or audiophile or drum. So the main purpose of conducting this test is to measure the abdominal strength and the endurance, so that you can get a good core stability while performing any of the activity, and these are the equipments which will be required. The procedure is the starting position is lying on the back with the knees flexed and feet 12 inches from the buttocks. The feet cannot be held or rest against an object, so the feet should not be held by anyone, and one must not rest it against any of the object, because if an individual is doing that, then that person is getting a support while doing a test. So it is important that the feet should be free. The arms are extended and are rested on the thighs. The head is in a neutral position. The subject curls up with a slow controlled movement until the student's shoulder come off the mat 2 inches, then back down again. So what you have to do is that you have to curl up and then you have to go back. So now the scoring. Record the total number of curl-ups. So you need to record all the curl-ups which are performed. The completion of one complete curl-up counts as 1. So the complete curl-up means that from the initial position you have to come up and then going back to the initial position. This is your curl-up 1. Only correctly performed curl-up should be counted. The sit-up is not counted if the shoulders are not raised up to 2 inches. The head touches the mat, the heels come off the mat, or the student is off cadence. So what we are trying to say is, if an individual is not performing the curl up properly or correctly, if it is not done, then that particular curl up will not be counted or recorded. And every individual will be given 30 seconds to complete the test, and in those 30 seconds whatever will be the number of curl-up, that would be recorded. Next is your push-up fitness test. Equipment required are, depending on which protocol you use, you will need a floor mat, metronome or audio tape, clapping, drums, stopwatch, ball and a chair. So it depends on what kind of a push-up test we are conducting, and accordingly the equipments will be required. Mainly for normal push-up we just need to have a floor mat and a stopwatch. Now the procedure. The standard push-up begins with the hands and toes touching the floor, the body and legs in a straight line, feet slightly apart, the arms at shoulder width apart, extended and at the right angle to the body, keeping the back and knees straight. The subject lowers the body to a predetermined point to touch the ground or some other object, or until there is a 90-degree angle at the elbow. Then returns back to the starting position with the arms extended. So in the whole process, an individual needs to be on, first of all, be on his chest, lying on his chest on a floor or a mat, keeping his palms on the floor and his toes as well. Now an individual should keep his body all straight, and with the support of his palms and the toes one should go up while extending the elbows, and then one has to come down. For that he needs to bend his elbow and come down. And now it depends on the examiner how one is taking the test. One has to touch the ground or any of the object, or just we need to check whether the elbows are at 90 degree or not. Now the scoring, record the number of correctly completed push-ups. Again the same thing, if the push-ups are done correctly, then they will be recorded, otherwise they will not be recorded. Next is modified push-up test. So there are these two type of push-ups. One is mainly done by boys and this modified push-ups are mainly for girls. Purpose is to measure the arm strength. Equipment required will be stopwatch, gym mat or floor or anything which gives you proper cushion or making you comfortable. The procedure. The subject lies face down on the mat. The test begins in a kneeling position on a mat with hands below shoulder, knees behind hips so back is angled and long. Tuck toes under, tighten abdominals and bend elbows to lower chest towards the floor. So it is to be done in the same manner as we do push-ups. The only difference between both of them is that instead of just putting the toes on the ground, we need to put our knees on the ground, which will give the body more support and control, and it will be a easier push-up which can be done by individuals. Keep your gaze in front of your fingertips so neck stays long. Press chest back up to start position. Repeat for desired number of repetitions. Now the scoring. Record the total number of correctly completed push-ups that were performed in 1 minute. Next one is your standing broad jump, or you can also call it as standing long jump. The purpose is to measure the explosive power of the legs. Equipment required are tape, measure, non-slip floor for takeoff and soft landing area preferred. Now the procedure. The athlete stands behind a line marked on a ground with feet slightly apart. A 2-foot takeoff and landing is used. With swinging the arms and bending of the knees to provide forward drive, the subject attempts to jump as far as possible, landing on both feet without falling backward. 3 attempts are allowed. So, an individual needs to stand behind the line or on the takeoff board, and the jump will only be recorded when an individual lands on both of his feet together. Because it is a jump, you don't have to take a step or hop. That is why it is important to take off from both the feet and land on both the feet. And with the swinging motion of the arms, one has to jump, and that jump will be recorded. Now the scoring. The measurement is taken from takeoff line to the nearest point of contact on the landing back of the heel. Record the longest distance jump, the best of 3 attempts. Next is shuttle fitness test. The purpose of the test is, depending on the distance and duration of the test, the shuttle run test will measure agility, anaerobic or aerobic fitness, or some combination of these. Equipments required are non-slip surface, markers, cones, measuring tape and a stopwatch. The procedure. Shuttle run test requires the participant to run back and forth between 2 lines or markers. Here the distance between the 2 lines will be 10 meters and to and fro will be 1 round. The same way an individual need to perform at least 2 rounds at a particular pace as quick as possible. Some tests use a set distance to shuttle between. Others may use a ladder shuttle, which the shuttle distance changes with each run. So as I said, it depends on how it is done. In this particular test, the distance between the two lines will be 10 meters only. Now the scoring. For the shorter, 2 or more trials may be performed and the quickest time is recorded. Results are recorded to the nearest tenth of the second. Now we are going to start with the second subtopic, which is Barrow 3-item journal motor ability. Harold M. Barrow examined a journal motor fitness of college men and declared the norms of grading the individual. So there are 3 tests. The first one is your zigzag run, second is standing broad jump, third is your medicine ball throw. So we are going to do with the first test, which is zigzag run. The purpose is to test power, speed, quickness and body control in multiple planes of movement. The test also accesses lower extremity control. So it is all about your agility, it is all about the quickness, how you control your body, because in this test you have to run zigzag in the whole movement. The equipments are the measuring equipment. You need to have a measuring tape, 2 stopwatches and 5 cones. Why you need 5 cones? Because we need to have this kind of ground or marked area as it is shown in your slide. The procedure is set up the path, which is 3 by 3.85 meter and marked with colored tape on the floor and place cones in every corner. Subject stands behind starting line. On the signal ready go, the subject starts running in zigzag way. Third point, the subject runs 1 lap as fast as possible around the zigzag path. So there will be a 3 by 3.85 meters marked area in which the lines will be marked with some colored tape, or you can use lime powder also, and in every corner we are going to put the cones there, and as it is said ready and go, the subject has to run in this zigzag way. Fourth, if the subject does not round all cones in completing the 1 full lap, require him or her to rest and then retest is done. If an individual is not able to, or by mistake leaves any of the corner or any of the cone in between, then the test will be stopped there and the subject will be given some rest so that a retest can be done. Record the time to perform 1 full lap around the path to the nearest tenth of 9 seconds. So what you need to do after the completion, you need to, during this, you need to record the whole time in which the individual has performed the test, and you have to record it. Scoring, time taken to finish zigzag run as per the norms, grading is done. Second one is your standing long or broad jump. The purpose is to measure explosive power of the legs. Equipment required are measuring tape, non-slippery floor or non-slippery mat in which you can jump or from where you can jump. So it should be non-slippery so an individual does not get slip. The procedure is stand behind marked starting line, feet slightly apart, swing your arms back and forth rhythmically and bend the knees. The athlete takes off and lands using both feet, arm swing and bend knees, provide forward drive. So how you need to do it? And you need to stand behind the starting line which is there. Both the feet will be slightly apart. They should not you should not join your legs. It will not give you the full force when you are jumping. Need to swing your arms back and forth just to give you a good movement, and then while bending the knees because it will give you more pressure while you extend your knees or more strength. This is how you need to jump. You again the same thing, you need to jump from both the feet and land on both the feet. Fifth is the subject attempts to land as far as possible, landing on both the feet without falling backward. 3 attempts are allowed. The scoring is the measurement is taken from the take-off line to the nearest point of contact on the landing. Back of the heels, the best 3 attempts is recorded and as per the rating scale grading is done. The third one is your medicine ball throw. Purpose is to measure upper body strength and explosive power. Equipment used will be medicine ball for boys 3 kg and for girls it will be 1 kg. There will be used a measuring tape, safe place and an assistant so that nobody gets hurt. So one should know how to grip the ball and all the instructions to be given before starting the test. Now the procedure is warm up thoroughly. So you need to warm up properly before doing this activity, because while you throw or when you putt the medicine ball, you might can have cramps or strains because the ball is heavy and you need to throw it. So you might get injured or hurt because of the use of that particular muscle. So it is important for you to get warmed up first. Stand with both feet behind the mark line. Hold the ball overhead with 2 hands. With both the hands you are going to hold the ball over your head. Throw the ball as far as possible. Now you need to throw the ball in front of you and it should go. You should try and throw it as far as possible. Take 3 attempts and record the best score. So you need to take 3 attempts and then record the best score. Now the scoring. Measure the distance covered by the subject as per the norms. Grading is done. Now the homework. Question number 1. Explain the procedure of 50 meters dash. Question number 2. Explain the test used for measuring agility. Question number 3. Explain the general motor fitness test. This is the end of your lecture. Thank you.